If you're doing business online and want to know how to accurately track return on investment from your online marketing efforts, then you're in the right place. Whether you are a seasoned pro or just getting started, this training is for you. I'm going to show you how to overcome the number one mistake 90% of companies make when tracking revenue. And the best part is, you can get started right away. Hi, I'm AJ Yeager, Chief Growth Officer and co-founder of Praxis Metrics, a business intelligence agency that helps you escape spreadsheet hell, eliminate wasted resources, and get you accurate data you can trust to make better decisions. From tracking to dashboards, we help you scale faster. We've worked with companies from e-commerce to retail, digital publishing, SaaS, manufacturers, VC firms, and mega churches, and even investment firms. You name it, we've probably worked with them. I'm really excited to share this concept with you today, but first I want to kick this off with a quote that you may or may not have heard before. This is a very famous saying in business by the one and only Peter Drucker. You can't manage what you don't measure. This is very important to understand, especially when marketing online. Tracking or measuring is the foundation of everything in your business and will allow you to make better, accurate decisions. My intention here is to help make sure that you understand this and avoid becoming part of that 90% of companies that keep making this mistake. I want you to grow exponentially from your data and tracking efforts. So remember, marketing without data is like driving with your eyes closed. All right, let's dig in. By the time this video is done, you'll understand the biggest mistakes when it comes to tracking, removing the guesswork from return on investment, exactly what UTMs are and how they can take your marketing to the next level, where and how to get started, why proper data tracking is crucial to your business, and what valuable insights that data can provide. And finally, how to build a UTM link and the most effective way to utilize it. So one of the biggest mistakes we see too often is assuming that everything is tracking. What I mean is that most companies, and you may be included in this, think that everything is tracking correctly in all of their different tech systems that run their business. And this is just not true. Now here's why. Simply put, many technologies have software limitations. Out-of-the-box software setup isn't complete or isn't robust enough. And many times, there's just such a learning curve that a person in charge of it simply couldn't finish, and they didn't set everything up properly. SOPs are not established, and those are standard operating procedures, or they're not practiced by all team members, and you may be missing platforms from your tech stack. Finally, you may be lacking cross-platform UIDs, which are unique identifiers that help connect pieces of information in one system to another. The point is, you simply can't afford to invest in these technologies if you don't take the time to make sure they are all set up to track the right data and information from your business. Now, the number one most underutilized and error-prone tool we see is Google Analytics. It is very powerful when set up correctly, and best of all, a free tool that should be in your arsenal. When it comes to Google Analytics, most marketing teams simply don't set it up correctly to begin with because it takes a Google professional or lots of time and research. Or they do get it set up, but then forget about it, and worst of all, don't validate or test to make sure everything is tracking correctly. They may try to use Google Analytics as a dashboard to visualize their data as well. Now, there are some cool reports in there, but it really isn't an easy way to digest information. Last but not least, most people simply think GA is too complicated, so they don't even try, which is totally understandable. Now, this video training isn't focused on teaching you how to set up these tools. There's lots of free resources on the web that can help you, or you can reach out to our team at praxismetrics.com and they'll be happy to help you. Okay, so now that we've covered that mistake specifically and had a quick overview of Google Analytics, let's talk about ROI, return on investment. Now, the best way to start this off is to reminisce back to 2005, when Google AdWords was launched and completely changed marketing and advertising as we knew it. Google AdWords had conversion tracking, which removed the guesswork from ROI. It allowed marketers and business owners to pay for online advertisements, know the exact cost of each ad click, and know whether or not a particular ad click resulted in a sale. It was game-changing. From that moment forward began the demise of most traditional forms of advertising. And it wasn't that online ads with conversion tracking were better marketing, it was just a simple fact that you could calculate your exact ROI that mattered. But if you could track your ROI accurately with AdWords, why not other online marketing activities? What about blog posts, display ads, webinars, email marketing, and even social media posts? These are all digital forms of marketing you should be tracking. The reality is most marketers either don't know how to do it or are too lazy to set up the systems required to do the tracking correctly. Fortunately, there's just one tactic you need to know about to track most of your online marketing activities and own your niche. We'll also look at how you can apply this approach to a variety of marketing channels and how you can use various analytics tools to derive insights from your data. As I mentioned earlier, after watching this video, you'll know how to calculate the ROI of an online marketing campaign with precision so that you can double down on your wins and quickly cut your losses. Now let's talk about why modern marketing makes ROI calculations difficult. You'd think it'd be easy to track the ROI of an online marketing campaign. There's a digital paper trail for every click, tap, and dollar earned, right? And you'd think that advertisers and online marketers already have this stuff figured out by now. Well, it turns out it's not exactly the case. And when you dig deeper, you quickly learn that calculating ROI isn't as easy as it seems, which is a shame because ROI used to be really easy to calculate. But let's take a minute to make sure we understand the basic ROI calculation. If I spend $100,000 and I make $300,000, I can calculate easily that I've made a 200% return. Money out minus money in. That's your typical ROI calculation. ROI equations just aren't that simple anymore, especially when you consider all the marketing channels offered these days. You're not just going to do one form of online marketing, just like content marketing. You're probably already doing SEO, video marketing, and even affiliate marketing. You may even throw in some Facebook advertising as well. You'll likely even give influencer marketing a try, and you should. With modern online marketing, we have to be able to prove a return on investment for each one of these individual channels. You can't just bundle everything into one neat figure. If you're spending $100 across 3 different marketing channels and you're generating $200, it doesn't mean all marketing channels are ROI positive. It could just be that one of them is dramatically over-delivering while the rest are losing you money. If you're not tracking marketing channels individually, you won't be able to work out whether this is the case or not. You won't know which steps you need to take to improve your marketing ROI. Which brings us to the number one mistake 90% of companies make when tracking revenue: not using UTMs for all online marketing efforts. With all that being said, now we're going to focus on a specific tracking model that'll work with any number of marketing channels and analytics tools: content marketing, social media, Instagram, campaigns, emails, newsletters, drip campaigns, whatever it is. No matter what channel you're focused on and what analytics tools you're using, this tactic will help you work out how people are reaching your website. This approach works with every single analytics tool, which means that all of your analytics tools will be able to use this approach to collect data. Just remember, we must be able to approve an ROI from all of our channels. UTMs, the tracking tweak that'll work for anything and everything. UTM parameters, or UTMs for short, are the only way that you can track your marketing campaigns uniformly across most analytics tools. UTM is an abbreviation for Urchin Tracking Module, and Urchin happened to be one of the very best website analytics tools that used on-page scripts to collect visitor data. Like a lot of great web software, Urchin was eventually acquired by Google. UTM is made up of 5 variants of UR parameters, used by marketers to track the effectiveness on these campaigns, as I've been saying. It is simply an encoded suffix that you append to a URL, and a URL being a website link. The suffix can be quite long and is made up of various parameters. Each parameter provides specific information about the link in question, and by stringing these parameters together, you can track your online marketing campaigns with a tremendous amount of detail and granularity. This might not seem like a big deal, but it's one of the most powerful ways to track your marketing, your sales, or any activity you're doing online. Now, for a real-life example, I have an email campaign from an affiliate of ours named Justin Goff. All the links within that email he sent use specific UTM parameters so that we could measure the effectiveness of that email campaign once the traffic from that email hit the website. In this example, right here is a link embedded in that email, and the video screen capture right where the arrow is another link. Let's get into the nitty-gritty of how UTMs work by using this example. Now initially this URL might look really complicated, but once you understand the various parts, you'll find it's not too difficult to understand. All in all, this example URL tells us 6 different things. Number 1, the URL. 2, the campaign source. 3, the campaign medium. 4, the campaign name. 5, the campaign content. And 6, the campaign term. So let's drill down into even more detail. The URL. This is the website that's running the campaign in the light blue color. Number 2 is the campaign source, highlighted in another blue color. Where the clicks come from, this is like search engines, specific websites, specific newsletter like number 202, etc. Number 3 is the campaign medium, which is in green. How the link was presented to them in a search engine result or a pay-per-click ad or an email. Number 4 is the campaign name in yellow. The marketing campaign the link belongs to. So traditionally, marketing is done in a succession of campaigns. For example, a Black Friday 2019 would be a campaign. Number 5, the campaign content, which is in a lighter blue. The specific part of a marketing campaign that got them to take action. Now, this is optional. It's good for testing different ad copy or A/B testing 2 different emails. And number 6 is the campaign term. This is in the purple color. The keyword used in a pay-per-click advertisement that generated the click and subsequent visits after that, or what specific words were clicked on in an email is also optional. This breakdown could possibly make your eyes glaze over the first time around. I know it did mine, so stick with me. I know we'll get through this. The example URL tells us 5 different things inside of this link. Number 1, the campaign source here is Justin Goff. Capital J, capital G, no space. 2, the campaign medium is email plus send plus LTV dashboard. Number 3, the campaign name is Justin Goff, no space. Number 4, the campaign content is Justin Goff email, and the campaign term is NA, meaning we didn't use this. We didn't need it because, again, it's optional. So is the number 4, but again, we just wanted to make sure we were very thorough with this affiliate. And honestly, there are many ways to design a system of parameters that works for your organization. The trick is sitting down and designing it and sticking to that design from here on out. We'll get more into that later. So we're going to look at each of these individually. The website URL. This is simply the site that we're tracking. Here in this case, it's praxismetrics.com, as you see at the bottom in blue. So a word of caution about the URL, and ours at Praxis Metrics is a HTTPS URL. Before you start creating UTMs, determine whether or not your website is secure. If it's secure, then all your URLs will be HTTPS by default. If they're not, then your website is not secure, which is HTTP. Whether your website should be secure or not is a whole nother discussion for another video. The important thing is whether or not your website redirects from HTTP to HTTPS. If it does, that's a good thing, but you're going to want to make sure that you build all of your URLs and respective UTMs as secure links. Otherwise, when the redirect happens, the URL might be stripped of all the UTMs, and this can have a negative impact on your ability to track data. The source parameter. This parameter is identifying traffic sources sending clicks your way. In the case of the example URL shown below, it is Justin Goff with no space. The parameter happens to be designed for an affiliate of ours, but the source website is the same whether it's organic traffic, affiliate, or paid traffic. In the particular case of Google AdWords, let's say, we sometimes recommend making the source AdWords because it'll make it easier for you to analyze your analytics report later on. If you're just going to stick with using AdWords as your only online marketing channel, then setting your source to Google is fine. If I posted this link to Facebook, for example, the URL would have been Facebook or facebook.com as the source. So here's some examples of different source parameters that you can use. CPC, tweet, posts, email, banner ad, article link. Now for the medium parameter. This, in essence, is how the person has got on the website in question, or in what medium the link was presented to them. Let's say you're spending money on cost per click ads. The CPC ad then becomes the medium. In our example here, it is email plus send plus LTV dashboard. We were very specific on this one, and that's just how we wanted to use it. Now here's some other examples of mediums that you could use. Google, Facebook, Twitter, MailChimp, or Reddit. The campaign parameter. Campaign name generally refers to your overall marketing focus that day, week, month, or season, etc. This nomenclature is derived from the fact that traditional marketing is thought of in terms of campaigns, something that the world should know about or even an idea of your marketing team would like to test. Let's say you're having a summer sale. Every link you create related to that campaign should have the campaign name Summer Sale 2019. If you have a new product release, the campaign name could be something like Vitamin Drink Special 2019. But here are some other campaign examples for the campaign parameters you might use. Summer Sale, Social, 3/16/2019, that being a date, or product, or promo code with 30% off. Now, a slight word of caution. There are two routes to go down when naming your campaigns. For seasonal campaigns, you might want to be somewhat specific and use a date-based format like Summer Sale 2019. However, for a webinar series, you might want to keep it simple like Praxis Webinar Series and not use a date-based convention. The reason why is because when you go back to review your data in your analytics tools, it can be helpful to see ongoing campaigns in one reporting batch instead of having them spliced up into even smaller campaigns. So going back to the summer sale example, you could be posting the summer sale on Twitter, Facebook, Pinterest, and even on LinkedIn. You might send out emails promoting the sale. You may even publish different pieces of blog content for it as well. Any method you use to promote this sale online, it'll all be grouped under the same campaign. Having strict campaign names is important because it allows you to segment your data in Google Analytics via campaign names and in other analytics tools. You can then easily assess the success of a specific campaign and gather insights for future campaigns. Most importantly, you can begin to understand the ROI of your marketing campaigns as shown here. Now, for the content parameter. This parameter identifies the specific content or written copy used in a campaign that led to someone clicking on your link and engaging with your brand. The obvious benefit here is that it allows you to identify which copy is performing best for an individual campaign. Any conversion rate expert will tell you that testing copy alone can have the biggest performance insights when it comes to improving your marketing campaigns. Additionally, the content parameter is helpful if you're running a web page like A/B test. If you're sending out multiple emails for a specific campaign, the content parameter can help you figure out which email converted better. Suppose you send out two different emails for the same campaign, each of which has a unique subject line. We could use the parameter UTM content equals A for all links within one email, and the parameter UTM content equals B for all the links in the other email. In doing so, we can see which of those subject lines drove the most conversions for a particular campaign. In my case, we just used Justin Golf email, which was repetitive, but it was our own system. In each of the other emails, it was Justin Golf email 1, email 2, email 3, email 4, and so forth. It's worth mentioning that this parameter isn't mandatory, but in certain circumstances, it's definitely worth using. The above example representing such a circumstance. Now for the term parameter. The term parameter, again, isn't mandatory, but it can be helpful in a number of circumstances, notably PPC, or pay-per-click ads. This parameter can help you understand the words somebody queried, which in turn served your online ad to them. In most cases, it relates to the keyword used for a specific advertising campaign. This is helpful if you're running an advertising campaign. When people click an ad and come back to your website, you can actually see which keywords are driving the most conversions. As mentioned, using UTM term isn't mandatory, but by having it there, you can make use of even more segmentation to be more specific within your marketing campaigns. For example, you may have several links in an email that you're promoting, just like I showed you earlier in the Justin Golf example. By identifying each link within the email with its own unique UTM term parameter, you can know which link received the most click-throughs. You'd simply make the UTM term parameter the specific link text you're tracking. So there is one for the one that said right now, and there is one on the video screen capture. Here is an important note regarding revenue versus vanity metrics. There are a lot of marketers in charge of email marketing campaigns that'll say, hey, I got a 34% open rate, and I got a 52% click-through rate on this email. It did amazing. And if one of my team members in the marketing department said that in my business, I'd look at them and be very concerned. Yes, I do want to know how many people opened the email, and I do want to know how many people clicked on the email. But let's be real. We're in business to make money and deliver great value to our customers. So we mostly care about how many people purchased. How effective was this email campaign? If I can't connect email clicks back to actual purchases, that's a problem. If you take one thing from this video, let it be this. Make sure you're using UTMs to measure important business metrics so that you can know the actual return on investment from your online marketing activities. Don't get caught up in vanity metrics. All right, so let's get into creating UTMs for yourself. At a quick glance, UTMs can look really complicated. So complicated, in fact, that you might be worried about how you're going to go create them yourselves. But fortunately, they're not that hard to create. For starters, Google has its own built-in tool that you can use. There's also some other tools we suggest, which you can go check out at praxismetrics.com/tracking-tools. Now, back to the Google Builder. This tool is really easy to use, and all you have to do is put your chosen parameters in the relevant fields. Notice all the elements that we've talked about are all ready for you here to fill out. Links that use UTM codes can look pretty messy. UTM links also reveal a lot of information about your marketing. This can mean competitors have access to vital campaign data. Some customers can be also wary of links that are long and complicated. So because of this, it's a good idea to hide the UTM parameters. We can do this using a link shortener like bit.ly or goo.gul. This is a really simple tool, and you can use it to shorten your URLs. Bit.ly also provides click tracking, which provides further data on your campaigns. And here's an example of how it works. Once you put a link through bit.ly or goo.gul, you'll notice that the link is a lot shorter and neater. This is all possible without harming the UTM parameters inside of it and your ability to track UTM data within the analytics tools. One of the most often asked questions is, how do you make sure to stay organized so everyone uses the same UTM tagging system? Now, we're talking about putting a UTM for every single one of your marketing efforts. That can be overwhelming, right? This is a common problem, especially if you're on a team of several people and everyone is working on a specific campaign. So let's look at a classic example of where the problem is big. Valentine's Day campaigns. Valentine's campaigns are wonderful at driving marketing managers insane. It's an annual marketing campaign, and of course, you're going to want to use UTMs to track your ROI and performance. Then the inevitable happens. One team member spells the full word Valentine's with a lowercase v. Another team member spells it Valentine's with an uppercase v. Another team member spells it V-Day. So you have three different ones, Valentine's, and V-Day. All of these would appear as separate UTMs, meaning the campaign data would be segmented into three different campaigns by your analytics tools. Don't let this happen. How do you prevent this? Easy. We recommend to build out an organized spreadsheet that your team uses and follows carefully. Remember, your output is only as good as your input. This is where your tracking SOPs really matter. So here's an example of bad data output. The end result is reporting or seeing your data in dashboards. Your dashboards and reporting will not be accurate, and your dashboards and reporting will not be clear. Here's the end result, or the dashboard. So this is the visual part of it. So I want to show you here is if we go into, let's say, customer lifetime value dashboard, and right in here, beautiful dashboard, beautiful graph, all this data is accurate, but what we're talking about is when your tracking is aligned and your standard operating procedures are correct, over here where you're able to see the first source, right? This is a source, Facebook, Instagram, affiliate, that's where you're adding that field into source. And also, to make it even more clear, under your medium. If your medium is a bunch of numbers or a bunch of gibberish, it's going to show up like this in a dashboard. You won't know what it means unless you've memorized all these numbers and you know exactly what they mean or their specific dates or something. It'll be messy. And so when you're in the end result here, these need to be clearly defined, clearly marked, and you want to have the nomenclature that you stick with. So let's talk about when you should not use UTMs. There's one specific case where you should never ever use UTMs, and that is when creating internal links on your website. Most website analytics tools like Google Analytics are designed to help you understand what's happening on your website by default. There's no need for you to code up unique UTMs all over your website to understand what's going on. If you start using UTMs to link various parts of your website, you can artificially multiply session counts and trigger all kinds of negative elements that will corrupt your analytics reporting. Don't do this. All right, we've covered a lot of ground so far. Now it's time to wrap up and give you some actions to go and do. UTMs are the only way you can know the true ROI of your online marketing activities. If you're doing business online, you have no choice but to use them. And honestly, you should be really grateful that UTMs exist. It's a blessing to be able to finally get this critical information It doesn't cost anything really, and it's just a matter of taking the time to create a UTM system that works for you. Now, it can be challenging to design a perfect UTM system that will work for your company right out of the box, but it's an iterative process. You may make some mistakes along the way in order to figure out what system works well for you. That's all right. It may take hours looking over your analytics reports and dashboards for you to finally see what conventions make sense for your monthly reporting. There's no way around this. The reality is, you got to get your hands dirty and go and do it. Now, first, we recommend getting a whiteboard and begin mapping out your UTM system with your team. Determine your sources, determine your mediums. How do you want to use the content and term parameters? Ask yourself, how do you want to incorporate UTMs to run A and B tests? Do you want to use UTM term for specific text within emails? This collaboration will help you chisel out a great ROI tracking system that you can use for years to come. Get started now and use a UTM link with your next post or on your next email. Just test it out. UTMs can take your marketing to the next level. All channels and all analytics work with UTMs. When you start doing this, you'll have better data on all your marketing campaigns. You can then use this data to track return on investment for any of your marketing campaigns. Without UTMs, it's going to be a lot harder to make definitive claims about your marketing campaigns, and I know that for a fact. Sure, you'll make some mistakes at first, but once you get the hang of things, you'll wonder what the heck you were doing before using UTMs. I really hope this was helpful training for you, and that you remember that this is the most powerful way to track your marketing, your sales, or any activity you're doing online. Again, my name is AJ Yeager at praxismetrics.com, and I want to thank you for investing your time here with me today. Please connect with me on LinkedIn and Facebook for more resources to help you scale. We love to help companies like yours grow and achieve your goals faster. So please reach out to me at my email address as well if you have any specific questions. Thanks and good luck on your journey.